Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone's trading has been going great lately. I wanted to make a quick video on Tesla, updating my thoughts on it, along with basically what I can see going forward, and just some overall broader market thoughts as well. I originally wanted to touch on a couple other names in this video, but if this specific trade plays out, I don't think anything else is really going to matter. So let's dive into this Tesla chart. And if you haven't already, I would definitely check out the trade review that I did on Tesla. Even if you don't care about the actual trade and me reviewing what I actually did within that trade, skip to the second half of the video. I do give out a thesis on basically what I could see going forward on Tesla, and those same thoughts are still relevant as it's only been a day basically. So, with that being said, I'm going to start with just saying if you're thinking about shorting this move, I would be very careful doing that. Just because this moved up about $75 in 3 days doesn't mean it has to come down anytime soon. It very much can, but when you have a stock that's consolidating for 4 to 6 months, over a year even, when they finally break out and they go into that markup phase, that's not something you want to fade. That's how you give away money because this doesn't have to come down anytime soon. And again, it definitely can. This could just wash away and get a massive $20 to $50 down day. I'm not opposed to that, and I'll definitely take that short trade if it actually sets up in the proper way. But I just want to draw your attention to this part of the chart right over here. And I'll actually draw an arrow because where we are right here is basically where you were right here. If that's the case, we can definitely get another big markup in which this stock went from about 350 to 480. That's a $130 move. This has only currently moved $75. If this is going to follow suit and move the other $50 worth of range or so, then this is implying that this could potentially get new all-time high. I'm not taking that off the table. I do think that's a very realistic possibility to get this into all-time high, or at least around that 452 to 475 range, going into earnings, which is the second or third week of October. I'm not personally looking to short this name. I'm looking to take it much higher. From here, if this is able to hold basically where it's holding at now, ideally this gap that it has right here, if this can still hold, this could be a runaway up to the next targets. And I do have a couple of levels in which this is going to be very important going forward. So the first one, you can clearly see that this 414.5 is going to be a very important pivot. Look at what today's open is. It's exactly 414.50. That's going to be a very important pivot to hold if this is going to continue to the upside. The next one is going to be 421.35. That clears. You have room to 439.17. That is at $18 long from where it closed at today. There's potential to trade those 439s into the end of the week. So still a potential $20 move that's going to come this week. If we clear 439.17, we have room to 452 area up to 475. And if we get positive reactions at each and every one of those, it's going to help determine how much more range we have on this stock and how quick we can get that range. How things react at specific price points, it's going to be very telling for what can come next. Basically, how the market moves around these key levels, it can be predictive of the following price action. Now, going forward from here, what I want to see is I want to see this hold this general area in which I just noted. We need to hold basically this low, and then we're going to want to hold the low of today. If those two are going to hold, and this is going to leave open this gap right here, this can help ignite this into a bigger move to the upside. If that's going to occur, we could get a runaway in which we just melt up into that all-time high. I'm personally still in the 435 calls from this week. I have the 435s, the 450s, then I have the October 3rd 450s as well. And I have those 450 calls specifically because if this gets the proper move that I'm looking for, they will go in the money before expiration. And if that occurs, they're going to be 5 to 10x trades. And then another minor pivot that I do have before that 439.17 is basically going to be that 432 to 434 area. That's going to be a minor zone, but essentially, if we're able to get a positive reaction tomorrow into new weekly highs above that 425.7, which is the high of this candle, I want to see immediate strength. I don't want to see this starting to fail on the lower time frames, whether it's the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 15 hourly. I want to see a positive reaction when we do get above that, showing that buyers are still interested in taking this higher. I want to see momentum continue right out the gate. There's a lot of importance that I'm placing on this week specifically going into next for the entire broad market. If the market is able to hold up in the next week or so, we are setting up for a potential vertical move. This drawing right here that I drew, you can picture that coming on SPY, QQQ, some of the actual sectors, including XLK, XLY, XLC, even some of the leading names. You see how Google is moving as it's breaking to new all-time highs and it's constantly expanding. It's the same exact thing that happened with Microsoft before it finally got exhausted, it finally got its pullback, and then it's just kind of setting up again. So there's a lot of importance in the next week or two. So pay attention to what is going to occur within this time frame because how the market holds in general is going to be very telling for what can come next going into the fourth quarter. There's a lot of massive movers that are building up. Like I said, there's at least 10 or so different names that I'm seeing similar potential moves like this coming into the next 2 to 4 weeks. If the move up does not come overall, then it could lead to a pretty big aggressive pullback. I'm not blind to the idea that the market can pull back. It should pull back. It probably will pull back. But if it does not, be very careful being biased to one specific side because there are vertical moves potentially coming. We're going to see squeezes coming across sectors, individual leaders, and the broad indexes like DIA, so the Dow, IWM, SPY, QQQ. There are a lot of very healthy setups in the market, and I know I didn't really go too in depth in this Tesla chart. I just gave a brief outline of basically what I'm looking for, but I just wanted to make this video to state this. The ranges that we have coming in the next 2 to 4 weeks, they can be life-changing opportunities if you were able to properly catch these moves that are coming, I should say, potentially coming. But if they do, this is a time to where you don't want to just take it easy. This is a time to be aggressive, size up, put your foot on the gas, because if these long setups play out, we could have a 2 to 4 week window in which you can make your quarterly goals all within a week. This is just my personal opinion of what I think could come, and I'm not just saying full port just because I'm saying this in any specific setup, because like I said, the upside move can fail, in which there is a bigger short trade brewing. But if the range that we have in store is not going to be used to the downside, it's going to come to the upside in probably a more aggressive manner than most people are expecting. So just be mindful that if you think that you are missing some of these big movers like we've seen in the past couple of weeks, stay tuned. You haven't seen anything yet. If this market truly does what I can see coming, don't know if it's actually going to. We shall see. But if it does, be very prepared for it. And so that's all I really got for you in this video. I'm going to make another weekly watch list, so stay tuned for that. If you find this video helpful, please like, subscribe, comment down below if you want me to talk about any specific individual tickers, whether it's just a name that you want to see a different perspective of, because I know that I do chart a lot differently than some people do, and I try to keep my charts as easy to read as possible so you can basically see the points I'm trying to get to. So if you do have any tickers that you want me to cover, I'll be more than happy to take some suggestions, so let me know. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video.